Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. My name is Kimmy. I'm an intern here at CMA. I think Pam was mocking me over there a little bit. I'd like to thank you guys all for being here today. You see, you're a pretty unique facility. We're a not-for-profit working animal hospital, which means every time you walk through our doors, you're directly helping us help out all of our animals here have a second chance at life. So you guys play a huge, huge part in what we do here. Now, Clearwater Marine Aquarium, we specialize in what we call our mission statement. That's the 3 R's. That is to rescue any animal that needs to be rescued, rehabilitate those animals back to health, and first and foremost, release them back into the wild. Now, in an ideal world, we wouldn't have any animals here for you to see. We don't live in a perfect world, and we do, and usually the reason why these animals are here is because they either have injuries or because they have the lack of survival skills to survive in the wild. So we've basically given them a second chance at life here. We cannot thank you enough for helping us out with that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our 2 girls here, Panama and Winter, as this training session is going on. What you're seeing right now is what is called an encounter program. Our participants down here actually get to spend a pretty long period of time getting to know each one of the dolphins down here. And get to spend some time with the trainer and learn exactly how we train all the animals in different behaviors that all the dolphins do. There's also other programs that we have. We have photo opportunities if anyone wants to get their photo taken with any of the dolphins. And we also have what's called a trainer for a day program. So for about half a day or so, you kind of shadow us around, shadow the interns with the staff around, and you get to see what we do and kind of get down and dirty and help us clean a little bit, or a lot actually. We also have what's called a wade program where you can get down on that platform and get some personal time with Panama and Winter. And if anyone's interested in any of these programs, the front desk does have all that information for you and all the details. So please feel free to go down and talk to them, and they'll give you all the information on all of these different programs that we have for you. Now, Panama's showing you off her belly right now. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Panama and how she got here. First and foremost, Panama is about 500 pounds, and she's about 40 years old or so. So she is our oldest and our largest dolphin. And the reason why we know her age, or around what her age is a couple characteristics. Number one, if you look at her rostrum or her beak right there, you'll notice that it's white. That's because when dolphins get older, they do lose the pigmentation in the front of their face. Just like humans get gray hair, same concept, but that's what a dolphin does. They lose the pigmentation in front of their rostrum. You know, she was just over on her stomach, and Panama is very fond of getting a couple of belly rubs. But if you saw, she has a lot of gray spots on her stomach. Where Winter back here, being only 5, it's a solid white pink color. And that's because when dolphins get older, they actually will develop spots on their stomachs. So that's another characteristic of how we know that Panama is an older dolphin. Now, Panama came to us in the year 2000. She beached herself on Panama City Beach, is why we named her Panama. And the reason why she did beach herself to begin with is because she got extremely sick. So she became associated with a group of dolphins called beggar dolphins. Does anyone know what a beggar dolphin is? No. Most people don't, but it's pretty important that you do. If you ever go out on the intercoastal or into the Gulf and you're on a boat, if you see dolphins come up to your boat and beg for food, that's what a beggar dolphin is. They will beg for food instead of hunting for their own food. It is actually against the law to feed a wild dolphin, and you can pay a pretty hefty penalty or a fine if you do get caught feeding a wild dolphin. And Panama is a perfect example of why you should never feed a wild dolphin. You see, those people were teaching Panama this behavior of if you come to a boat, we're going to give you food, instead of hunting on her own. So she stopped hunting altogether, she started going to boats, she started begging for food, and guess what kind of food they were feeding her? Probably a whole bunch of junk food that we shouldn't even be eating. Probably hamburgers, hot dogs, whatever they were having for lunch, I'm sure they are feeding to Panama. And that, of course, is not in a dolphin's diet. All the dolphins here, they do get restaurant quality fish because dolphins are a top predator in the wild, and they eat the best quality fish that they can catch and they can hunt. So that's why Panama got sick. And when she beached herself, she actually beached herself about 100 100 pounds underweight. So we brought her back here and we rehabilitated her. And right now she's going to show you just how powerful those tail flukes are. Good job, Hannah. Let's give her a round of applause. In the wild, that is a hunting behavior. They will smack the top of the water with their tail flukes. And this gives them a pretty decent amount of time to stun their fish or stun their prey, and they'll come around and kind of swim straight through the fish and eat them while they're stunned like that. Now, there's a couple of reasons why we cannot release Panama back into the wild. Number one, because she learned that behavior. It's a behavior once you learn, you kind of don't unlearn behaviors, you don't unlearn things. They do learn behaviors here, and they know them for an extremely long period of time. So she wants to go back out into the wild, she would just go back to begging for food, and we don't want her to get sick again and eating bad food. Also, if Hannah wants to go back out there, if she was to have a baby, she would not teach that baby how to hunt properly like she should. She'll probably just teach them how to become a beggar dolphin, because babies mimic their mothers all the time. Also, Panama is an older dolphin, and for one reason or another, her teeth are actually worn down almost to the gum line, which is probably what prevented her from hunting to begin with. You see, dolphin teeth act as a zipper. They intertwine with each other, and they actually swallow their fish whole head first. They don't chew their fish, or they don't tear it off in any way. So she lost the ability to catch the fish to begin with. She adapted to the situation, and she started begging for food. So those are reasons why we don't want to put Panama back out into the wild. Another interesting characteristic about Panama over here, a couple years ago we did hearing tests on all of our dolphins just to make sure that their hearing was working okay and that they can properly echolocate underwater. All the dolphins passed with flying colors except for Panama right there. She's actually completely deaf. So because of that, we have trained ourselves basically to do different forms of training methods with Panama that you won't see on Winter or Nicholas. You see our trainers with Winter over here, they have what's called a bridge, and that is a whistle around their neck, and they blow that whistle to allow the dolphins to know, hey, you did something great, come on back here, get reinforced with either some good rub downs, which is secondary reinforcement, or some primary reinforcement, which would be that fish. But because Panama couldn't hear that whistle for a very long period of time, for years we didn't know this, she actually was watching what the trainer's face looked like and the details of the trainer's face when they blew that whistle and when they did not blow the whistle. That's how smart dolphins are. But we don't put Panama through that anymore. She doesn't have to watch the trainer constantly. What you'll see John here do is he'll give her what's called a good two tap, which he just did. He'll tap her to let her know, hey, come on back up, you did a great job. Or he'll do what's called a point bridge, and he will point at her, and that's another signal to let her know you did a great job.